Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the trip. It's uh, it's almost here. The Premier League is almost here. I don't know if I want it to be here, but it's almost here. We'll get into that and more. There's a lot of stuff going on today. It's a day where we cry with ourselves, where we like smile with ourselves, and where we laugh at others. So it's been a nice day in that sense. A lot
Gary
more,
loves
a lot,
laughing at
a lot.
others.
Yeah, I like laughing at others. So we'll get into that. So, Tony, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little bit better than I have the last few days. Nurse came today, and I found out I have like 7 or 8 incisions on my arm instead of 2 or 3 like I was thinking. So
Okay.
not surprising. The 1 hour surgery turned into 3 hour surgery. So
All right. I'm gonna tell you something. Your audio is doing some weird noise. I think your audio is doing some weird noise again. I heard this wah, wah,
like,
unless that was Spencer, but his audio is off. So it's either you or me. I think it's you. So just I don't know. Check that out again. I'll let you come back. But first up, we go Spencer. Welcome to the show, Spencer. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, Gary? Tony? Happy
I'm
Monday.
doing all right.
Doing good. Doing good. Yeah. I'm ready to chat. There's a lot to chat about. I don't know. There's much to Arsenal chat about, but there's stuff to chat about anyways. We'll make it work. But first, we'll say hi to those who have joined us today. Reddy's in the house. Welcome. Let the roller coaster ride begin. Yes, yes, and I think today was a bit of a roller coaster, if you ask me. So, as Ray from Arsenal Friend Circle says, it's a roller coaster, and I think today was one of those. Got also Brownies in the house. He's all well and okay. But yeah, welcome to the show, Brownie. Australia must be treating him well. We've got Miss Melina in the house. Hello, Miss Melina. And last but not least, we've got Moss in the house as well. He says hello to us. Congratulations on the U.S. medal domination. Yeah, yeah, that's what the USA does. We just collect gold medals. It was looking a little close there that we weren't gonna win the gold medal battle. Back in the days when Russia was in, it was there. It just really tough between China as well. So we'll see what happens.
It's kind of weird now how Japan's like third now. And
Yeah.
like all these Olympics, they really up their game on the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like every,
I mean,
every other country spending less. So.
yeah. So I don't even know if the U.S. competes in some of they're even close to China in some of the events that they win. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
Weightlifting.
yeah, it's little things there. But yeah. Moss is for those who don't know, Moss really likes Canada. So I'm in a chat with Moss. He likes to chat up Canada. I know everything that's happened with Canada over the Olympics. Uh, and what does this mean? I don't know what this means. Anybody know what this means?
Just don't read it.
All right, I don't know what that means, really. So, and you know what? If that's a
You
British
don't even
thing,
know.
it's not going to work because I don't know what it means. Oh, we'll get in. Oh, you know what? Oh, we're not done here. You've got Dad's in the house. Welcome to the show. Dad's probably stopping in for a little bit before he goes right back to sleep. But welcome. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I guess we could jump into it. Why not? You know what? Yeah, we'll jump in. Yeah, well, we'll jump. We'll come back to. We'll come. Nick, welcome to the show. But we'll bring up this comment a little bit later because let's at least start with some Arsenal news and then we'll jump into the the news where we laugh at others. So, whew, at least this morning, I would say. I think it's this morning, for us anyways. On over here, Eddie and Kedia deal off the table. It just seemed to drag on and drag on. And at the point where Arsenal wanted their money and Marseille didn't want to give it to them, it looked like it was going to be gone. And eventually it was. And they went with another player. Yeah. Yeah. Brownie tells us how he feels about the Olympics. They don't like it. Yep. No longer learning French. He might have to learn whatever it is he might be going to next. But yeah, Nketiah deal off the table. They went and got the next player that they wanted, which makes it's crazy, right? When that happens to Arsenal, it seems like it takes weeks before we go get the next target. Marseille went back and forth with Arsenal, didn't work out, got the next target. I don't know.
Yep.
Is that just me or is Arsenal slow? What is going on? They said they have
Well,
80 pages of scouting. I assume that means they have plan A, B, C, for any of the requirements that they need. But no, didn't happen. So I was a little upset with that. Kind of chatting about it in one of the chats I was in. Keeping Eddie and Kedia with the way our team is structured right now, for me, nah, that's not going to work. We need a player in Eddie's position who's actually going to be able to come on the field and actually perform. And so far, he has not been that player. Arteta is okay to go to keep our other players on the pitch before going to him. He comes on and I'm like, it's too late now. I don't know what you think, Spencer.
I'm not worried about it because now Bournemouth's rumored to be after him.
Dude, let's stick to the script.
I'm not gonna bang my head over Eddie, Gary.
Give me
He's
this.
gone.
How do you feel when he was gone? Because you didn't know about Bournemouth, even though there was rumors.
Gary, I was talking about it about noon today, right? And then my buddy just sends me a text that's Fabrizio saying, "Oh, Bournemouth are interested in Eddie."
No, that was after all of this happened.
I think I think Fabrizio has been following me. I don't know. I'm not worried about it because I know he's going to be gone. Whether it's 25, 30, or 35 million, I'm not going to lose my mind over it. What I will be upset is if we don't bring someone in as a replacement.
Yeah, every day that goes by, guess what? Is another
one
day
day closer
to the end of the window, and that means one less day to actually bring somebody in. That's kind of my concern. So Tony, tell me about it. Eddie and Kedia gone? Not gone. Sorry, Eddie and Kedia stays.
It's not surprising because we're trying to nickel and dime him and get every penny we can from him. Like I said yesterday on Ray's show, we got 35 million for Smith Rowe, so I don't mind losing a couple of million or 5 million on Nketiah's value. I don't. I personally don't value him at 30 million, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
I know we need to just go get some because even one attacker is not enough. We need at least two.
Yeah, it sounds like Bournemouth probably might have some money to buy a striker.
They got about 60 million lying around, right?
So I guess Arsenal. I don't know. I mean, Arsenal may have known this beforehand or what, but they sold Solanke and they need to go and buy a striker. For us, for some reason, we can't. It seems like we don't work that way. But we seem to even if the deal is good, we still, it seems, we'll go. You know what? We'll have to wait before we have we have to have somebody coming in, even if the deal is good, which I find weird sometimes. Go ahead.
I mean, look back a few summers ago, we had Tierney, where it was just like over a few million pounds took the entire summer to get Tierney in. I mean, it can't be that hard to get a deal over the line. Just sign the paperwork. You don't want the player, ship him off and move on.
I hear that. Well, yeah. So, Spencer, what are you going to say?
I don't think we're really haggling on this one. I think 30 million for Eddie is pretty fair. I mean, I know people want him gone, but you can't just ship him off for 15 to 25 million and then do this complaining that we only sold players for such. I'm not saying you. I'm just reading some of the comments in the chat room over it. But my thought also is Nawari is going to come in and potentially be an attacking player. Hopefully he gets some minutes this series. We had him in preseason. I think they gave him the senior team contract. He's probably a player we're going to see. But then also you got to think about bringing in a player, but you also just want to buy any player, right? I know you and I think Saturday talked about Tony. That one seems a little bit doesn't fit the profile, but it's a different type of attacker. but we don't really need a striker. We need more of a winger, someone that can push Saka, right? I don't know. It's August 31st, the close of the window. That's 3 weeks away. I know the argument's going to be, hey, we need to get the attacker in, and I don't disagree with that, but I don't think it's the end of the world at this point that Marseille fell apart, especially when the Bournemouth rumors flying around. You can still kick the tires of Crystal Palace, maybe see if you can get an Eze out of there. But 30 for Eddie, I think it can happen. I mean, look at some of the numbers we've seen people go for.
Yeah, I'm going to say first hi to Alonzo, who joins us. I hear you, but I don't know. I look at those other players that everybody talks about. They have, for me anyways, it seems like they have more to offer somehow, either potentially or not, or just youth or whatever it is. Like Eddie's not young anymore, so there's no room for growth anymore. How much growth is he going to have in his game? He's supposed to be at his prime right now, right? And in reality, he shouldn't have been here the last 2 years. He should have been out playing football, getting starts and all of that on a regular basis. So that's the reason why, for me, I think they're asking too much, and I think also we are risking missing out on upping our odds to get a trophy, which I think should be one of our goals this year, that we are good enough and deep enough to actually go out there and get a trophy. It's not going to happen if Eddie Nketiah is sitting on the bench. It's not going to happen if Nelson is sitting on the bench, because we know we need answers on the bench in the areas that they currently fill. And Arteta has shown he doesn't want to use them.
It seems like Eddie would be telling his agents, come on, let's push a move through. I want to play football. But he seems to be happy to just sit there and get his 100 grand every week and be content. If you're a football player, first thing you should be wanting to do is play football. You're not going to play for Arsenal, so.
And from what I read, Bournemouth has options. So it's not that, okay, now they want Eddie. No, Eddie's just one of a list of players that they want. Marseille wanted Eddie Nketiah. They actually submitted multiple bids. Bournemouth, if they have to submit multiple bids, we're talking about next week, basically finish the deal. And will Arteta and Edu actually let a player go, after the season has started? Especially if they're trying to bring in a surprise? Is that surprise even a striker? Is it an attacker that actually isn't Coleman from Bayern Munich, who had 6 goal contributions last year in the Bundesliga? Right?
Maybe
That's
it's a
Eddie
surprise
Nketiah all over
goalkeeper.
again.
Maybe it's a surprise goalkeeper, Gary. Surprise backup.
Well, if it's not an attacker, then it's not good. If it's not a number 6, it's not good. I mean, those are the only places really I feel like right now if there's going to surprise us, that's the only way they can surprise us, with an attacker who's known to score double digits in goals, or a number 6 who can deceit either Jorginho or Partey.
Maybe a dude's trying to surprise him a bad way, Gary.
He's surprised what?
Surprise us in a bad way.
We've seen that before. We've seen that before. We've seen that before.
Just get some Brazilian barbecue and get some deals done.
Yeah. The X, I guess, agrees with what I said for something, but no, I don't. Solanke actually produced more goals in one season than Eddie has in his whole career. I mean, I don't know how you can't even say Eddie might, no, for me, I don't. So that's the thing. Anytime there's a sale, there's always something about the player that's being sold that Eddie Nketiah doesn't possess anymore. Yeah. Double-digit goals. He was one of the top scorers in the league, Solanke. Right, top 5, I believe. All right, more than any player at Arsenal. More goals than any player at Arsenal. Yeah. But we're gonna take a risk on Osman, if that even is an option, or Gyökeres, who's not played in the Premier League ever, but has played in Championship, and that's supposed to be a plus. So I don't know. Solanke at 45. Nobody thinks Solanke is going to light up the league and at that team. Yeah. If he's better than Richard Charlison, then he'll hit double digits. That's all he has to do. He's a poor man's Harry Kane. Everybody's a poor man's Harry Kane, outside of the top 5 attackers that we had last year, right?
I just don't see why you got somebody like Watkins out there. Why you don't do everything to try to get him. You want to have to buy California for it. You could have saved that money because PVR is good enough back there. He's not a weakness back there. But we need an attacker. So sometimes you have to go without an extra goodie. You just need the meat and bone sometimes.
Yeah. No, Brownie, you got a point here. 9 goals in 75. I mean, Eddie Nketiah's got, 10 goals in 100 and something games. So, but you know what it is? It sounds like you just need the one. You just need that one season to show, look, I can if I get a chance. Eddie Nketiah
What have you
won't get
done
that
for
chance
me
for Arsenal.
lately?
He won't
What
get
have
that
you done
chance for
for me
Arsenal,
lately?
right? I mean, I believe when he got his contract, that's the same summer that we got Jesus. So Arteta pretty much showed us that, guess what? Yes, I'm keeping Nketiah, but I'm getting Jesus too. All right? I never believed that deal is going to work. Yeah. Yeah, no, I say there's no potential. That's me. 25, no more like potential as being something he offers a team, like he can work into it. What do you guys think? You think there's potential left in Nketiah, or he's just going to have to go out there and perform? No, wait till next year.
Yeah, he'll work hard, but he doesn't have a finishing. His speed's not going to improve. Like you said, he's at 25, so he should be close to his peak. Maybe 27 as striker you peak, but I mean he's close to being what he's gonna be. So you're basically buying a finished product.
At 25, you expect to get the finished product, right?
Yeah, you expect to get it, but that's unfortunately what you're getting with him.
How many projects at 25 have we seen sold?
But on the flip side here, I've said this before, I don't think he fits what we do. He doesn't do the hold-up play. He's a target man in the box. So somewhere else he could do well. But
why did we sign him then? Did Arteta all of a sudden did he change his plan? He brought in Jesus, and he signed him in the same summer, I believe. Why did he sign Nketiah if he's not even doesn't carry any of the characteristics? Just a second before you answer that, I know Colonel Ward was in here, so welcome to the show, Colonel Ward. Saying I got my own. I'm a prophet on the show. I don't know if you meant prophet or if you meant pulpit, but what do you think about that, Spencer?
Tony being a prophet? I don't know.
No, I thought it was me being a prophet, or on the pulpit. I don't know, but yeah, Eddie Nketiah. Why did we sign him?
I think you and I have talked about this before. It's where the club was 2 years ago.
Why are you investing that much into a player that isn't?
Because $5 million was nothing compared to what the transfer fee was.
It was the $5 million. It was the 14. It was another 5 years.
We were signed to Aubameyang. Aubameyang kind of screwed off, and then Eddie came in and played good in that stretch towards the end. That stretch
when he wanted his deal, he played really well.
Yeah, and they fell for it. And they fell for it.
And
they made the decision based on the data they had at the time. They didn't have the money to go out and buy a striker at the time. They didn't.
They could have got. No, they did.
They didn't
They
though.
spent a lot of money, and I
They would have
remember.
though.
I remember that fall. It was like Edward and all these other players were available for like 25 to 30, and we chose not to do anything. So
Edward.
no, no,
Yeah,
no, 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 no.
I mean,
And
that's
they
who
yeah.
had
Bucks
more
like.
potential than he did.
They signed Edward for like 17, 18 million is what he went for to
What's he
Crystal
doing
Palace.
nowadays, though,
I
Edward?
don't know, but he's probably in the same boat as Nketiah,
So
and Nketiah cost us more.
did he cost you more?
Yeah, because his salary. Yeah,
That 5.2 million is nothing for a size of the club of Arsenal. It's really nothing.
it is.
You guys get caught up
It's
on
a
this
spot.
100K a week.
It's a spot
Not
that it is a spot. So it costs us more. It costs us points that we couldn't get because we couldn't bring in that player to sit in that spot that would actually come into the game and actually perform for us. That's what it did. So yes, it cost us. Maybe not monetarily. Yes, 5 mil is nothing a year for a team like Arsenal, but the role that he played for the team, supposedly, we lost points together. We couldn't depend on him to bring him in.
We're
And there's
also
nothing.
making this
There was
argument,
not.
hindsight 2020 argument.
No, there was nothing that he did before that says, guess what? He's worth all of that. The shirt, the money, the 5-year contract. There was nothing he did before that. You tell me about one game. What game outside of that Chelsea game do you remember that sealed it for his contract being extended?
That whole stretch.
Nothing.
I mean, look, we didn't know each other back then, but I thought he was okay to keep around.
I'll
stand
I
on
don't
that
think
hill.
any of us did.
That's
yeah,
fine.
no.
I mean, that's fine. I thought he was okay to keep.
Yeah, no, I was looking to where we wanted to go, and he wasn't gonna like the thing. The problem for me was Emile Smith Rowe demonstrated a lot more than he did. Martinelli demonstrated more than he did. Saka, of course, dominated the youngsters at that time in terms of what he offered, and then Nketiah was the more senior player, but the least talented in regards to what we're going to get out of him. I would like to have taken a chance with the Balogun more than him, but they weren't going to.
Say you had Balogun there. I think his contract was signed a year after his. They waited about a whole year to sign it. He wanted to sign it the entire time. So Arsenal wasn't playing him in the under 23s. Basically, waste a year of his development.
Yeah, Balogun's one of the ones we could have kept.
Yeah.
He didn't.
I mean, this is my biggest gripe with him. If he plays forward, he needs to be able to press. He can't. He can't. Jesus can press, and Jesus doesn't have legs. There's a lot. It's all about, for me, effort. And I don't even think he gives enough effort. And that's it's not good.
I mean, I don't want to see Jesus as deep as he is, but that's what Arteta wants. Because he presses a little too deep. But
yeah, I don't like that either. I'm not a big fan of the deep pressing striker.
Yeah, I believe Arsenal don't sell their players. They sell their players a year late. Every time. Or they realize a year late. Like, I believe last year or the year before Nketiah was, there were teams looking to buy, purchase, to bring him in. And Arsenal's like, nah. Milsrif Rowe last year, team wanted to bring him in, said, nah. I think we should have taken the money back then. Nothing had changed. We might have lost a little bit of money. You might even got more money from it. But I think the spot he filled also hurt us, as opposed to maybe bringing somebody in or giving others a chance.
And what hurt us, he was on that 100,000. So Crystal Palace wanted him, but they wanted us to pay a little bit of his salary because they didn't want to pay 100 grand a week on him.
Yeah. I mean, I know it was at teams like, I don't know which team it is. This team, I think in Spain, that they just pay. Well, I guess where Nico Williams is from, they pay they pay big salaries for their players to keep them. But I'm not sure if they're paying big salaries to players at a level of an Nketiah.
Plenty of time left in the window. That's all I'm going to say.
No, definitely, there is time. Yeah, Eddie had some really good goals that he has scored over his career, but like 5 out of the 10 that he scored in his career, that's good and bad. 50% of your goals being like crucial to Arsenal's success, good. But 10 goals in your Arsenal career, not good. All right. I think we want to move on from Nketiah. I could talk bad about him too much, and we probably don't need that. So next up,
I kind of just real quick, ready to move past this, but I wish we were where we were. I think it was 4 seasons, might be 5 seasons ago, that England was like, okay, we're gonna cut off the window the week the season starts. But they didn't keep that because, of course, the rest of Europe starts later and keeps trading. So we moved away from that. But I like having the players, and I don't like having it after the season starts.
yeah, I mean, I like, I don't know you guys, I don't know about you, Spencer, but I do like the idea of just like you start the season with your squad, and then that's it. So you do your business. I mean, I think we've had more than enough time to get our business done and have an extra 2 weeks while we're trying to win games, trying to do businesses as well internationally. For me, we had more than enough time. Like Nketiah and Nketiah getting sold could have been done any time in this window, not after Euros was done. Like it should have been at the point where it's agreed upon and we move
But
on.
why should the club take a loss at some? Why can't they just try to get the value they want out of it?
Okay, here we go. Good question. For me, the 5 mil that you lose on Nketiah, is that worth maybe being able to bring in a player that gives you a better odds to win the Premier League, Champions League, any trophy that you're up for?
Yeah, I think like I said, what you got for Smith Rowe, you got 35 million. You'll get money for Nelson. You have more sources out there. You can also get rid of Ramsdale, but that's extremely late now. Getting a decent replacement in for him.
Yeah, but the question still holds: is the loss of Nketiah worse than actually being able to bring in a player that you actually might play in a important role on the squad?
You go for your targets. You're at the take losses at some position. Some you get extra money for. So
If I told you we were going to get 60 mil for Nketiah and Emil Smith Rowe, would you say that was good business?
yep.
Yeah, of course you would.
So then, there you go. That's exactly where we would have been.
And we're still on August 12th. And August 31st.
No, we could have already sold him by now
and
still got the 60 mil. We could have done that.
We're doing a lot
We
of.
could have done that already. No, I hear what you're saying. It could still happen, but it could have been done already. We could be moving on to the next step in our process. We are so sequential in this whole process. We can't multitask and do 2 things at the same time.
And in a perfect world, Man City would still be a League 2 team. But here we are.
I don't know what that has to do with what I'm talking about.
They were bought by a nation state.
I don't know what it has, but I'm just talking about what we're doing. I can't right now. We can't do anything about what they're doing, right? Right? We can't do anything about that, but we can do better than what we've done. So, yep. Now let's move on a little bit. Let's see what else.
Can you blame Eddie for not wanting to live in France? Can you blame him?
Ooh, I don't know.
I would rather live in France.
See what's going on in England? It might be all right to live in Spain. It might.
You could go down to Bournemouth. You know, it's the beach, beautiful women.
And just joined us. Welcome to the show. Yeah.
So you're saying French women are ugly?
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if I had to choose, I'd choose England over France.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about it. Zubimendi rejects Liverpool. Well, you know what? Let's just go through. We'll get to that one. We will get to that one. We're on the striker. We're on the striker talk, anyways. Let's just continue with that for a bit. Ivan Toney sounds like you might mention 250K per week. Is he worth that?
He is if he gets you the title.
Yeah, but is he worth that?
I say no based on his the betting history. There's too much of a risk. You could put a morality clause in that contract to say if you get busted for this, then we're not off the hook. That's the only way it's worth it.
It's worth it with the added stuff. If that's just the straight salary, then too much. But you can have the bonuses and stuff. 225.
Yeah, I mean that 250 is what compared to it. Who makes 250 at anybody? Do a lot of players make more than 250 at our squad right now?
No, he'd probably be in the
Not too
top
many.
5.
Yeah, Partey. Who else is up there?
For that salary, I don't know where Spencer went, but he's got his football screen up. But yeah, no, 250 does sound steep for me. For a player that does he start for us immediately? I don't know. Spencer says 250 a week.
Like I said, it's kind of how the deal is structured. Do you have a base around 200 or
No problem.
180 or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know about. I don't know. 250 sounds steep. Yeah, Martinelli and Eddie were both highly touted prospects in 2019. Look how you view Gabby over Eddie. Well, I mean, that's what happens when you see them on the pitch. Like we saw potential, and we actually saw potential in him, and then we actually got results eventually. Eddie, I'm not sure I saw enough potential, and I don't think we got enough. We don't have a season like Martinelli's. Right? You're talking Martinelli. Yeah.
To me, going back probably 4 or 5 years now, I was like, Nelson needs loaned out, Eddie needs sold, because to me, Nelson looked like he was further developed, and he needed to go develop a little further, Germany, wherever. But Eddie kind of looked at, that's what you're going to get with Eddie. Turned out that's what you got with Eddie, so I think we've went with the development of Eddie versus 3 or 4 other players that could have helped us, or we could have brought in other players.
Yeah.
Sign that 100,000. So that made us stuck with him because most Premier League teams didn't want to spend 100K a week on Eddie.
Yeah. Brownie, I don't know if you're correct on this one, but Eddie Nketiah and Nelson's contracts end in 2027. So So I don't. Maybe you saw a different site, but that's what I'm looking at on Transfermarkt. Only playing.
I'm not sure if that's true because when I looked yesterday, Eddie's contract was 4 years. I think
I thought it was 5 years, but yeah, I mean that's what it says on Transfermarkt. So I could be wrong. They could be wrong. Yeah. Yeah, he's still not sold, though it's an obligation to buy. Eddie could go there and not like him reject the contract. Is that true? If there's an obligation to buy, they can't like that. If there are constraints on it, but if it's a true obligation to buy, then it's an obligation to buy.
Yeah, I think you can do an option to buy or an obligation to buy.
Yeah, when I hear obligation, that means it's going to happen. Like, I think we did an obligation to buy with Raya, but I think that may be contingent on certain markers being hit.
Like, yeah, that was like 75% of the games being played, and then you had from my understanding, like an obligation, like the fee is already really kind of determined. An option means you would revisit the price.
Yeah,
and I know Brownie can correct me on that, but I feel like that's pretty close to what it is.
Yeah. I don't know if we're unprepared. I just think we don't have the depth. I don't know what you guys think. I think we're prepared to play. I just don't think we have the depth to meet the demands of what's going to be a crazy season.
I think we're fine from the backfield and the midfield. but I don't think we're fine up front.
That was
don't
the
think we
problem
are in the
last
midfield.
year. That was the
I
problem
don't
the year
think we are in the
before.
midfield.
So nothing has changed in 3 years.
need
We're still
depth.
going into a new season with the same questions at the front. Where are the goals going to come from when we need them? Nick, yeah, we'll get to your comment. That's my thing.
Because the only offensive sub you really had would be either Martinelli coming on for Trossard or Trossard coming on for Martinelli. That's basically all you had in it.
Well, you got
That's not enough.
Jesus and you got Trossard, and then at least you have Martinelli, Saka, and Havertz. I'm predicting Havertz gets you 20 goals next year. Saka the same. Martinelli probably about 10.
Yeah.
But the problem with Jesus is you can't rely on him to be healthy. And look, and I'm gonna make another prediction here. What's going on with Timber? He's hurt again. So now are you a liability to stay healthy?
He's coming back to full training next week.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if getting an ACL and not being able to come back immediately is a bad thing at this point.
I was under the impression that it was a different injury. That's why he missed.
But I just believe that that whole when you compromise part of your body, everything has to overcompensate for it, and that's when you get the breakdowns in other parts of the body, right? If you hurt your ankle, your knee could get shot. If you hurt your knee, your ankle could go, and all these types of things happen. That's how I feel like the body works. That's why you kind of want to make sure you can rest and strengthen everything, because you lose all the strength in your legs, and then you try to go, and then one part of the body's stronger than the next, and then you have issues. That's kind of how I feel that happens. That's why you never come straight back. It's few and far between a player comes back like we've seen over here, right? A player loses have his ACL cut and is back playing at top form the next season. That just doesn't happen for most players. It's usually a year and a half before they're back to where they were before. So,
and if that's the case, then I stand corrected on that. But I didn't go too far detail with it because they normally don't give out all the injury information, right?
I think anything that is a discomfort to him, they're going to say no, because there's no reason to rush him back right now, especially with the depth that we have. Hopefully, Tomiyasu is also coming back, but I think they may have overdone it again, playing him so many games in the preseason.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if he should be on the minutes watch because of the leg. You're right, Spencer. Basically, an obligation to buy is moving the deal for the next financial year so that you benefit. Yeah. So
and that's the problem when you sell to clubs like Marseille or some of these other clubs. Like, they don't have the capital to just throw the 40, 50 million you want. If you're a club like Arsenal, you're probably more likely going to be selling to a rival. If you want to get big money, you're going to be selling to almost a direct rival. I mean, Fulham 35 for Smith Rowe. I mean, that's probably a big deal for them, but that's really kind of the problem.
That was their biggest deal, I believe.
Well, and also, like, to be honest, like, in my opinion, like, sometimes it's really not just the transfer fee; it becomes the salary that comes on too, right? Like, hey, we want to hit 35 million for this player, but we'll subsidize some of the salary for you. I mean, that may be what Arsenal ends up doing here is they end up, hey, we want 35 for Eddie. We'll pay 75% of his wages for this year and 25% the next. So you get your 35, whatever, you end up eating 5 million for the club that gets him in, so you can get your deal, because then you can move money off the books, just write all this crap off and move on to the next thing.
I'm with you, because that's what I always believed, and is why hold on to a player you're not going to play if you can play half their salary and let them go, and maybe use that half of the salary to get another player. So, but we never see it, so I assume it doesn't happen. But let's get into this one. Zubimendi rejects Liverpool. This is, at least for me, it makes me laugh, because when Zubimendi was going to Liverpool, I saw many a Liverpool fan cheer and do flips and all of that. But guess what? Zubimendi was coming, and Zubimendi said no to the Arsenals and the Barcelonas and all of that. Didn't even talk to some of them. Essentially said nope, don't want to come. Shunned Arteta. But now he's going to Liverpool. And I think and we've said it many times. A player in Spain and Italy trying to get them out, it's not always that easy. It's not always that easy. Calafiore getting out is a good deal. And if you look when you look at it at the end of the day, he left and he left the mainland there basically to come to England. That doesn't always happen.
It doesn't happen very much at all.
Yeah. So I mean, I think
I mean, Italy always has good defenders, but Premier League clubs have a hard time dragging them there because you're in England. Whether versus England versus Italy, I'm staying in Italy.
yeah. So so we were able to get our player, but no. So yeah, I don't know. It is funny to see, and like now, some of them have to eat crow, as they say, and all of that. But yeah, that's why I'm happy when a player said he's coming, but I do temper that a little bit because of Arsenal has got us that way. We know it's good to talk about it, but there's always that chance it won't, right?
And until you see that official team photo or tweet, whatever,
Mhm.
you just don't believe in the deals because they're always destined to fall through at any time because they're complicated deals.
I don't know if I don't know how far. I mean, I think they got to the point where it was just a matter of getting the player to commit, right? And that player said, "No, not with you."
And that's the Klopp effect, in my opinion, because if Jurgen Klopp's there, he probably says yes.
For sure. That would be really crazy if he didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
There's going to be lots of twists and turns the remainder of the window, so I'm interested to see. I do think Eddie's going to have to be moved on before they go get another guy. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, I say that, but the sooner we get towards the end, the more likely they may just do it anyway. But I don't think they want to sell Ramsdale just yet. But I mean, that's the complicated thing about the money here. I kind of went backwards in time on our conversation, but I do think Brownie deserves credit when he says this. His opinion on this, I think he's right to an extent. It's going to be kind of a slow window because of how funny everybody's financial spreadsheets are right now.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I just feel like this could be the first window in a while that we actually sell 2 players for over 20 mil.
that would be
it's been a while since we've done that I
seen
can
people
remember.
do spreadsheets making fun of how bad Arsenal is selling players, and if you could sell Eddie for 30 and Smith Rowe for 35, I think that's a pretty good business.
Yeah, for us for sure. Yeah.
Yes, I think including Smith Rowe, if you go back to 2012, we've sold 4 players for profit.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's
we've turned away monies for probably, who knows, maybe 2 or 3 players. So, and then they walk for free. Yeah, no, selling Ramsdale with no proper number 2 is risky. That's why, for me, like I don't know about you, but it's a week. It's less than a week away till the season. Ramsdale, dude, you're staying. If it works out in January that we can get a legitimate number 2, so be it. But just enjoy yourself, and and I think Arsenal deserves to give him minutes. Right, he doesn't have to play all the games. So if he,
the number 2, Gary. I know you talked about it before, but we haven't mentioned his name in a long time. Was Ryan, because he would communicate, because he's out there speaking in Spanish to communicate with the back line, so everybody understood what was going on. And that's what the problem was with Leno. Leno wasn't very vocal, great shot stopper, but he
I enjoyed watching.
So,
Yeah, I enjoyed Matt Ryan's goalkeeping. He would come out and attack the ball at the highest point, no problems, right? He might have not been a better shot stopper than Leno, but because I think he was shorter. But yeah, he definitely commanded that area better for me than Leno did.
He seems like he would be like a perfect keeper for Arteta because he was willing to play out the back, was good at it, was comfortable going high, like you said. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was the type of player, but instead they try to force these keepers to play a certain way that they're not comfortable playing. They're not good
Yeah.
enough, so you might as well resort back to the way they're good at playing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the way that last season went for from Ramsdale hurt his chances this year, and now he hasn't. He basically hasn't. He's played what 2 matches, and basically it's going to be a year, right? I mean, kind of got screwed by the radio deal happening late in the window, but at some point you got to force it. If your career is on the line, you got to force the team to help to do what's best for you at some point.
He's so young though. He's got so much career ahead of him.
It seems like by now he would hand in the transfer request.
I hear that he's got more time, but a year out of football not doing it, I think is not good.
If he was a striker or midfielder, I'd 100% agree. But being a goalkeeper, I mean, you're not hitting your prime until I think 28, 29 anyway. So
I
hear
guess
what you're saying.
I don't. He is a starting goalkeeper in the Premier League, a team that got into the Champions League, a team that finished second. We can't sell him.
I don't know if they want to sell him immediately.
No, it's in their best interest not to at this point.
Yeah, I mean, again,
there's no Matt Ryan out there.
You better be very confident in hiring or have another player at your side.
Yeah. I mean, we saw what looked like decent play from Hine. And I guess Setford is supposed to be as good, if not better, at his age than Hine is. At their corresponding age. Just 1 second, you guys continue. But yeah, tell me about the goalkeeping. Anything else you want to say there?
I just think it's a risk moving on to Ramsdale without an adequate replacement because Hine's too young. Hine needs game time. You want to loan Hine out. There was a lot of potential with him on this preseason tour, but you need to he needs straight game time. The right move, right? Like somewhere in the championship or something like that.
Yeah, then there's rumors that they already have loan deals for him in place. So.
That's the thing. They signed 2 young goalkeepers, 18 years old. So you're buying potential there. They're prospects, right? Ramsdale's. I mean, I get the whole wanting to get him to play, but man, and he's on a heavy wage too, on 120K a week, I think it is. I just think the what it would cost to buy an adequate replacement plus the salary, it's worth letting him sit. So what? You won't get your 50 million next year, but like Gary said, if you can move them in January when someone's desperate, you could fleece them, and then you identify your replacement. Whether it's a loan move too, you're bringing an adequate loan guy. That's also a possibility. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting. I mean, Saturday's first game. Wolves, is that a road game for us or home game?
I think it's home.
Mm.
I think it's home. Let's see. It is all the way at the top of this thing. It's a home game. Yes.
Yeah. So first game.
Yeah. Look, you got love there from Brownie. I don't think he's ever said anything I've said has been decent or even qualified as a good take. Right. I mean, man, I didn't even know it was a Christmas list, a Brownie's Christmas list. So there you go.
I'm not interested in what he's going to send.
if it says sign for it, say sorry, wrong house.
Yeah, wrong house. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's and once again, now I feel like we've maybe lost whatever value we had in Ramsdale a bit. All right.
I don't whatever. So I disagree. So I think we've lost whatever added value you could have got. I still think you can get at least what you paid for him back, even if you move on him next year.
Emmy Martin has won us an FA Cup, and we got less than 20 for him.
How much time did he have left on his contract?
I don't know, but he won us an FA Cup, and we've seen what he's done since then. So for me, the potential is there for him to maybe do better, and he has done better.
Ramsdale, England, English
He
tax.
hasn't won nothing with England. Hasn't won anything with
English
Arsenal. So tell me about the resume. How do you compare the two?
I don't know. People in our own fan base think he should be starting over Raya. We've heard this.
Yeah, but this is where, as Tony said, this is where as a player, at some point you have to say, my career is better than your security.
He
Right?
might also be thinking about it like this too. Ramsdale might be thinking, okay, I can pick my next move if I just let my contract run out too.
And once again, that screws Arsenal again. So, like I said, this is what Arsenal can do to themselves, right?
And not to toot Brownie's horn on this one, but he's right on this. I heard him talking about this in the stream earlier. But when you sign a contract with a player, player's has the right to just stay at your club because you said, hey, I want you for 5 years. Hey, I mean, Ramsdale got to worry about Ramsdale, right? And £120,000 a week. I mean, these are the gambles you take, right? These are the gambles you take.
Yes, but you could have sold him. I think, I do. I get that. Yeah,
Yeah, is right. You don't admit you have ADHD issues. You don't admit that.
Yeah,
You'll probably find that they think that's just as poorly as having someone saying you have a gambling problem.
They're on different scale. They're on different levels, but they hurt the same way in the value of the player for sure.
Club still views it as a liability.
Yeah,
we don't know if Ramsdale's going to be out there in the 80th minute thinking, I wonder what game I'm going to play tonight on the video game system. Oh, there's a crap. We don't know.
True.
So,
yeah, he didn't help himself, and but you know what? He didn't help himself. But I just feel like if you're really engaged in what you're doing with your club, you wouldn't do that. If you're really engaged in anything, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't sabotage your own career.
No.
Right. You wouldn't do that. But I mean, he essentially did that. Like, did his agent know he was gonna say that on the camera? Yeah. Raya and Ramsdale have positives and negatives about their game. Raya, it's not as good as a shot stopper as Ramsdale, but Raya is better at the back than Ramsdale. So depending on what Arteta feels he can live with a mistake and a goal, then he can live with
Not
not
sure
being able
after
to
that.
back.
That penalty shootout said he was a pretty good shot stopper.
Well, no, we mean like in the field of play, like that's where he's not good.
Statistically though, Ramsdale is one of the worst keepers in the league.
It's one of the what?
Worst.
And why is he the worst?
Because his stats show that
No, well, which stat is it that makes him sit towards the bottom of the league?
Just, I think it's stopping shots and stuff like that. That was
For Ramsdale.
for Ramsdale, yeah.
Well, I know near post he doesn't. He's vulnerable there, but that seems to be an English goalkeeper thing. Because we've seen it. So I don't know. Yeah. I heard that. Yeah. I think Raya offers what Arteta wants, so he's going to get the confidence. I think that's the other part to this. If we're talking about the confidence that Arteta gives, if he believes you have what he wants, he will back you. I believe that's why Xhaka worked so well for Arteta. His Arteta backed him, gave him the confidence to continue on when he probably didn't want to. That's why I think Arteta is a little bit too selfish with his generosity of confidence in his players. Like, if you're going to keep Nelson, if you're going to keep Nketiah, they need to feel like they're part of this squad. and they're going to give you 100% when they get out there on the pitch. I believe Nelson did it, but I don't know if Nketiah did. Yeah, Porto shootout for sure. Yeah, but I guess I'm talking about in the field of play when open play, he's not as good. So yeah, Ramsdale not that good. Okay, so I don't know what he's talking about there. I don't even know why I put that up. Sorry. Sorry about that. A lot of deals they might be falling. Conor Gallagher is requested to go back to London now before, just in case the contract doesn't sign. So. And also, I guess next month, I think, City trial happens, but we won't hear anything until 2025. What's that all about?
Don't know.
I feel
I'm
like
not
they're
sure.
just dragging this thing out. We're going to chat here, but we'll let you know later. Oh, wait. Now we're going to do the trial here, but we'll talk about it later. Then they wanted to drag out. They don't want to do anything.
It's about lawyers.
They showed how pissed off they were though by finding them over the start thing.
I think that's just that's like water on the bridge, and I think that's just like a show of, look, we're trying to do something. I don't like that. For me, what happens if nothing comes out of it? Oh no, but we find them for whatever, slowing down games. That for me, that's just part of the game, right? You've seen it in many a sport. If you can let the other team stew, waiting for you to start the game, you're in their heads already. Just if they wanted to find them, they should have find them when the first time it happened, not 22 times later, 23 times later, 23 times, and now they're gonna do something about it. Too late. After 2, don't let them get to 3. I always say that.
What
You've
about
been warned.
23,
It
Gary?
happens a 3rd time, you will get punished.
What happens on the 23rd time?
Yeah, I know. On the 23rd time, then you've already given up on actually punishing them. In reality, it's already happened too many times for any suspension or
It's all
penalty to
about
get away.
lawyer fees. These lawyers are billable hours and billing.
If I'm the Premier League, I'm saying this will be done in a month.
But they'll just keep filing injunctions and keep filing injunctions.
No. The Premier League can, if they really wanted to, right? The Premier League could just say, look, you have a month to show your case, and let's move on, right? I think in the armed services, they give you a certain amount of time. They don't say, all right, you can go back and forth. No, this isn't a public court of law. Premier League probably has enough information, if they really wanted to just go ahead and punish them instead of going through all this. They've already wasted your time enough already. If you're the Premier League,
so where's this?
punish them and move on.
So who is doing the court case? Is this a Premier League court case, or are we talking about an actual
Premier League?
Yeah, I don't know where this court case is.
So here's
I
I'm
think
gonna play
it's
devil's
FA.
advocate here. Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
It's the FA. I'm pretty sure.
So I'll play devil's advocate here. I think you are right, Gary. But if I'm gonna be honest here, I think what we're seeing is the Premier League's not too sure about the case they have against them. So it's kind of, there's a reason why the federal government, the U.S. federal government, when they put you on, when they take you to court, they win 90% of their cases. 1, they're the feds. 2, they do their homework for years.
Yeah,
And then they talk to every single alibi, and then you have no reason but to capitulate or do your time.
Yeah.
So that's
how long has this been going on, Spencer? So based on what you're saying, they should already have whatever information they need to convict if they believe that it's necessary to go actually put a team through this. This didn't happen yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
This didn't happen last year. Didn't happen the year before that. This happened years ago, right? This team benefited and is still benefiting from the things you think they did incorrectly. They did
I think it's from
illegitimately.
I think it's from 2.5 to 5.5 years ago.
So
Yeah.
my opinion, what I just told you, is I was playing devil's advocate. I think there's enough there to convict them. But I'm just playing devil's advocate that I think that they may not feel like they have as hardcore of a case as they think they do.
Yeah, Matt joins us. Night court. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I
This is
mean,
like night court.
it's like
Yeah.
it is interesting to see because you've drugged this out now for what? I think the first hearing about the 115 charge of adverse accusation was about January of 23, if I'm not mistaken. It's just really weird that you're going to hear it and then like, hey, 2025 will give you our ruling. Like,
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
saying. They are just like City might be dragging their feet, but at some point the league has to stop wasting their time and get
Then
on with.
after
That's
that,
where
that we'll
Gunner's
go
right
to
on
the
that. He's
Yeah.
fact spot
Yeah.
on right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's spot on there talking about our government is friends with oil merchants and they need them on their side. That's 100% accurate. That
Yeah,
was the problem when you start bringing nation states in as owners of
Yeah.
clubs. All it takes is diplomats to
No,
call diplomats.
but you know what? You bring them in for the money, not to corrupt your system. And if they're going to corrupt your system, then at some point they're staining the shield,
Mm.
right? That's what I mean. At
Yeah.
least that's what we call it over here in the States. They're staining the Premier League. They're staining English football. If you don't care about that, then yeah, let it go, let it happen, right? But if you feel like, guess what, the fabric of English football is going to be tainted, then you need to fix that. I don't agree that yes, because all the money we have to sell our soul, and we can't make a decision to change that eventually, right? This you're staying. It hurts English football, I believe, and it hurts English football even more. And every day it gets
Yeah.
further and further away for what English football was supposed to stand for. And like anytime you hear somebody who says back in the days when I watched football back in whatever, those people can't be enjoying this, right?
It's double hurting us though, because last year we had the phenomenon of players going to the Saudi League, which is the teams buying them. There's 4 teams that are owned by the Saudi fund, same Saudi fund that Newcastle has, which has 80% of the wealth of the entire Premier League. That's just an extreme amount of money. 400 billion. I mean,
They talk about it in law
uh,
enforcement where like the minute that you're corrupted and on the take, like you never have principles again. So when you chase money and money becomes the root of your existence, as I think the Premier League and the FA have, how can you like it's almost like a catch-22 where it's like, yeah, we really like that $5 billion TV deal and everything, but man, now we can't hold Man City accountable because then they can air their dirty laundry on us. And it's just it's not a good situation. And I think that's more of what's going on than the
Well, you
fact
know
that
what?
they
If that's
don't
the
want to hold
case,
them
then
accountable.
see, this is where I don't necessarily. This is where I think the rest of every non-state-run team should be upset. Why did Everton get punished? Why did Leicester City get punished? Why did all these other teams get punished? When you're saying, guess what? It don't matter, right? Why is Chelsea able to do the things that they're doing? I mean, they spent what they're trying to get close to 2 billion in transfer business, right? You know, I I I I hear what you're saying, but I think the rest of the
It's
teams
the same.
that are trying to do things close to the rules, right? If not, they are actually doing it by the rules, are getting punished by it, right? Because they're getting demoted. They're getting demoted. They're not able to win trophies and get any success. All of this. So why should they sit back and go, all right, it's all right? One, they may not have that money that the other teams, they may not have the avenue to bring in extra money that they know are not allowed to bring in, and
You
then they
got
can get
the
away
answer
with it. So if all of this happens, right, and the league goes, what is the league going to put up some new rules now and say no, you can't do it anymore, right?
potentially.
Right? I just feel like that, but so they got to cheat and then they got to win because of it.
You say this all the time, Gary. There's levels to this. The small guy gets away with it. I mean, the small guy gets punished and the big guy gets away with it. That's what
There's
you're
only
saying.
yeah. This is like one team in the Premier League right now that's able to do this because Newcastle, as we've seen, hasn't even come close to using any any bit of the wealth that they have.
This
All
is the
right.
same
So
country though that
one
found
team
a
in
way to get the World Cup too.
220 English teams is able to do this, and you're telling me, oh, it's there. There's no levels here. There's
There's
a
levels to
level.
corruption,
That's
Gary.
it.
You know
There's
there's
one.
levels to corruption. You know
There
there's
is no. There's one team that's doing this. Nobody else is. Tell me another team that is doing what you city's
Because
been
even
put
us,
on the table.
we were under the financial fair play
For what?
watch this
For spending more than we
last
could
year.
afford, right? Or,
Yep.
or did we bring in marketing money that helped us be able to bring in even more players? Did we do that?
Isn't there argument what Chelsea did under Roman too?
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that I don't like that either.
Gary, we're all on the same side here. You're pushing me and Tony on the bad side. Like we gotta defend Qataris over here. I
You're
can't do it, man.
defending City.
I
You're saying it's all right eventually. I'm
I
saying
didn't say
no.
it
I
was
don't.
all right. I didn't say it was all right.
Yeah, but you're trying to justify it somehow, and I don't want to justify it. I don't think it's right because I think it hurts the sport. I think yes, money hurts every sport, all right. But then when you're allowed to even circumvent that and get more out of it, then I think it's even worse, right? Like I think
I love the World Cup, but I didn't watch it because it was in Qatari.
That was your decision, Tony, but it had nothing to do with corruption or anything.
It kind of does
Yeah,
play
it did.
into it.
Like, what country has not been? This is how it works. You think it just ended up in Brazil for no reason in the middle of jungles,
Then you're
right?
answering.
Yeah, but
Right? You just think that happened all legitimately? Come on. They
Well,
didn't
none of
have
this stuff's
they
ever
didn't have half the
Yeah, but-
stadiums that they needed for the World Cup, but all of a sudden they did. That's the way the game works. I don't like it there, right? I don't like that. I think they should have
they
in
did the
established
same thing
countries
for the Olympics
that can
there.
accommodate the sport. That's what I think. And they should, if they
Well,
really
look at-
want to, they really want to give money to countries and stuff that might need it. Then that's where you make a co-host, and that team gets some monies because they co-hosted it. All right, that's really what they want, anyways. They want some money. They don't need to build a stadium and all that and support their economy and all of that. No, they just want some money.
How many countries go bankrupt or not go bankrupt, but have financial issues after hosting the Olympics?
Exactly. So that's why you shouldn't even let them even get to the point where they can corrupt themselves. Just give them some money.
Money's the root of all evil.
That's why I think you're going to see just a rotation of about 6 cities or maybe even less on the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's all about money, and that's the problem. The Premier League is making their money. The club owners are making their money. I just don't know how much they really care.
Yeah. So yeah, now Roman started it, and the city is continuing it on.
I know they were trying to put that morality clause in there, but I don't know how that vote ever went, or they even voted on it yet.
It's not a good thing. It's not a good look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that on Saturday. I think
Arsenal. Somebody said Arsenal got a loan around that time to help them.
I said, it was 120 million to help pay for people's wages and people that worked at the club.
Yeah. Yeah. Stan joins us. Welcome to the show, Stan. That's right. He's in Toronto, visiting Toronto, away from home, but having fun. So yeah.
Stan's a busy man. Mexico, Toronto.
I didn't know he was in Mexico. Yeah. Yeah. I thought what was interesting is that the Zubamendi deal actually happened on the same day that either Casemiro or whatever, Lavia, or one of those deals fell through as well. So it's the same day. Imagine that. Yeah, they're not having a good day, and they haven't even brought in a player yet. You think Liverpool will bring in a player in the next 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, basically?
No try, but it's hard to do it when it gets this close to the end.
Yeah,
because the selling team has to find somebody to replace the player they're selling, and sometimes who they've already agreed kind of in principle, we'll buy this player. Sometimes another team buys that player. So just you never know at the tail end of it.
You ever know what?
I said you just never know at the tail end of a window the last
Oh,
couple of weeks.
well, I mean, with with the what is it? Sell clauses and stuff. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Then you have to worry about players that play in competitions like with Champions League, them getting caps.
That's why you want to get that done sooner than later, right? So you don't have to deal with all that stuff. Players getting cup tied and all of that, right? So
Yep.
yeah, Ray, the Liverpool transfer expert. Yeah, he's oh wait, there he is. Maybe
Say his name.
really new.
Say his
Yeah,
name.
say his name. Say Liverpool. The man comes running. Yes.
Spencer Hall for saying his name.
Yeah. That is funny.
Even though he changed it, Spencer, did you catch that he changed it last week? It's now if you believe in him, he appears.
He's a marketing genius.
Yeah. Now Wahi, is that did we play? We did play against Wahi, and he actually scored against us, right? Yeah, when we played Lons.
Yeah.
I think he scored against us. Really, really nice goal. Our defense was pretty poor that day.
We used to do it when we had the Emirates Cup because they'd be the three other teams. A lot of times we would make deals with those teams. Because they're just seeing them live, you see what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The owners are probably there, or some representatives, so you can get things done that way.
Yeah, I think you might have said Liverpool 3 times. You might be right there, Stan. So yeah, Ray, the all-knowing, didn't think it was going to happen. I saw, was it Brooke Norton Cuffey has joined Genoa, so there goes another 2 mil on the that's a 2 mil we could have got from Kenya. We could have sold in Kenya already.
Have faith. We'll be sold. Have faith. Have faith.
It isn't the faith, it's the timing. Yeah. Every day just costs us more. Like, here's the thing. I think every day just costs us the difference in just selling them already. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
As it gets closer
just,
to the end, teams won't be as willing to get to whatever we want to pay for the player.
So, are you proposing that you're going to do a 24-hour stream until he gets sold? You're just going to do a live Arsenal celebration?
No, I have that thought has
Gary
never entered my mind.
Gary might do one on the 31st to see if he's went or not.
Yeah,
if it goes that long, Gary.
I don't.
Gary will never have any hair.
Whenever outside
it's
of
all pulled out.
Yeah, outside of Partey, no. That's nothing like that's gonna happen. We're not gonna buy any player last minute. Just put the money on the table, where the teams have no choice but to sell their player to us. So, yeah.
So Simone's probably less pissed now to see how his Arsenal career has turned out. Hasn't been that good. Partey's, because Simone was so pissed that Arsenal did that.
Yeah, well, I think Arsenal didn't heed the warning when if you look at how many minutes he played, how many games he played for them, they didn't heed the warning and they pushed it. I remember us talking about, can Partey last the whole Premier season? Not me, but personally, but I know Ray had it in his head that he's probably good for about 24 games. Did that once.
After that, I did it. Zinchenko, Jesus. There's like 5 players since then that have problems making over 20 games. Because Zinchenko, only time he was over 25 was when he was in Russia. You have Tamiyasu. I'm not sure if he's ever did over that amount.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah. No, I think that whole pushing Partey back onto the pitch was like that was the football gods were like, we had it with you, Arteta. You're not going to get anything out of this player. We were lucky to get the one season that we did. Yeah, I say get this Moreno guy. Sorry, not Moreno. Marino. Get him in. Let's finish this off. Let's move on.
I don't even care how he turns out. Just get my job done.
Well, if they want him, they should just let's get it done. Is my thing. If he's going to help us out in the midfield, go do it. Yeah.
How are we nearly a month later still not done? Is it a player? Is it us?
It's a strange one. I mean, it could be the injury concerns, right? I thought he was out because he was coming to Arsenal, but it seems like he might have been out for precautionary reasons. So you don't know what is what in that whole thing. Yeah, yeah. They've been saying Osman is allowed to leave for at least a week now. Yeah,
I thought that's why
It's
they
not
said
unfeasible.
like a year and a half now.
yeah. No, think about it. If he supposedly if he goes to Chelsea, right? Chelsea is João Felix. I think is next on their list. Conor Gallagher might actually be on his way back. You know,
They're talking about bringing Felix back to Chelsea.
Yes.
Yeah, didn't they already try that once?
Yeah. Well, now I think they could do it. Now I think it's actually could be like we actually a transfer, not a loan. So
Yeah,
I
we've
don't know.
seen
I
them
mean,
before.
Chelsea's still sitting around like they still sitting in that 40 player range. I don't know that.
Yeah, all 40 of them are attackers. That's the bad part.
I
Yeah.
just don't know how they've maintained their books like that. I know, like, what is it? You buy a club and you got 3 years to get the money right, but I don't know.
They're not. I don't know how they're not in violation already.
Well, I was looking at this just to see, but they are. They're. I think. Let me look at it, but I think they're actually doing pretty well in the sense that their incomings and outgoings are yeah, they are. They've spent let's see, they've spent 189 mil, but they've sold 101 mil. So, you know,
The problem I think they also have is maintaining their salary levels based on not having Champions League or even Europe. But didn't they finish in 7th last year? So they have at least the Conference League or something. I feel like that's accurate.
I mean, bought a lot of players. I mean that, yeah, they bought.
I
Yeah,
thought they finished 6th. I thought they're actually in their Europa. Maybe I'm.
I don't know. Did they actually sell? What's this? They haven't. This thing doesn't show me. Oh yeah, they showed what? They sold like 3 players. So, I mean, think about it. How come Ziyech? They just let him walk. Sar let him walk. Silver, of course, he was older. Gilchrist let. Well, they loaned him. Loaned everybody else.
I'm sure Silva was on a pretty heavy salary.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
finished.
Nawari's the one I'm interested in right now.
The which one?
Nawari. Talking about going back to Arsenal.
Yep.
I think that's an interesting. I want to see how that develops. If
Yeah,
he doesn't get loaned out, that looks like a player that could potentially. Because I was looking at his profile, he's considered a midfielder, but he can play attacker and winger. So I'm wondering if they're thinking in the terms of Marino. We'd like to get somebody if we can sell Eddie, but we can push Nawari up in here, and he's the next natural progression. So I'm just wondering what their plan is with that.
I know. I liked him last year, so I thought he should have got a chance. Rosie joins us. Welcome to the show. I think he looks good to me. I think they can definitely bring him in and give him decent minutes, maybe even starts in some cup games if they are against teams that might be closer to a level that he can be able to compete against. But he showed up well. I think the Bournemouth game for me, he showed up well there, and I don't think they were holding back, even though it was preseason.
So what do you think about Vieira? Where's his natural position? Do we look at him as a winger this year?
I just think he's probably his position probably is with a different shirt on. You know,
That's all.
it's kind of where I feel like it didn't work. It didn't work for me. I don't think he hold up. He's yet to now go into his season healthy.
It's the health that's the biggest issue. It's not the ability.
And the ability is we only get to see little bits of it to say is it consistent enough.
Yeah, there's
that
not a
we'll
big
get,
body of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
The big thing about him, though,
Yeah.
I don't think the midfield body size for him, I think is the problem. But ultimately, you could put him on the winger, but then you could argue, does he have the pace?
I think in an 8 position he'll be fine. I think in an 8 position he'll be fine because he can hold up. We've seen him be able to hold up and be able to go on a half turn and stuff like that, which would give him some space and time to move the ball up the pitch. So Pedro's numbers are funny because Gabriel has more goals than he does. So take that for what it is. Our center backs, they score more goals than he does.
A lot of money. That was a lot of money Chelsea spent on him.
Yeah. He can't play more than 20 games. It'll be, he's good when he plays, right? I mean, it's like when Partey's healthy and he plays, he's good. Like I think he was good in the last game, but he didn't look so good in the game before that. So, see, it's still not been approved, but based on City, they're probably just gonna let it go, right? I just don't see them doing anything harsh to a big club, and one that might, stay in the league in their eyes. There you go. Yeah, Inwary, I like him. I like Skelly. I mean, I'd like to see Skelly get some minutes, come in, and they just keep him in form, playing down a little bit, but then bring him in when we have space. And there'll be times when we need to bring in. We want to rest some
of
our players.
Argument, right? A guy costs you nothing.
Yeah.
He's from your academy. Use him.
Yeah.
Like I take a risk, take a gamble. I think no worries unless he gets loaned out.
Yeah. I don't know what this guy means by temperament test. Has he seen our squad as a whole?
I would argue Ray's probably saying that he has a discipline issue, or he could potentially be a hothead.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought he meant like he's like I'm like our team aren't. Well, okay. I thought you were saying our team. Okay. I got it. I don't know. I feel like we need some of that. And you know what? Xhaka was that. So I don't know. Like if Arteta likes you, you can be that hothead. I think. I mean, Arteta actually went out and grabbed him. Right. That's how much of a hothead he is. He doesn't. We never seen him really do that for too many players, right?
And if he doesn't like you, he'll just yank you out when you should have got a red card, but you didn't. Never play for Arsenal again. Yeah. Like Guendouzi.
Cool. Yep. Make sure, as Rosie said, subscribe and like and all of that. We appreciate it. Yeah, excellent creator, but just happen enough. Now you did talk about it. I don't think I didn't even comment, but for me, because right now the way the team stands, we need a lot of luck. Not necessarily, you need a lot of luck because we need to make sure our players are healthy. But if that happens, then one, Saka needs to hit 20 goals. Erdegaard needs to be a 10-10 plus player. Martinelli needs to get back to hitting 10 goals. Trossard needs to get, between 12 and 15 goal contributions like he's done the last 2 seasons for us. Jesus definitely needs to hit 10 goals.
10 goals in 36 games.
10
38.
goals. If he hits 10 goals, that means he's in position to do things,
I
and
need him
maybe
available
he'll get more
all year long.
and he'll get more assists for us along the way, right? So I think because he'll be engaged, and if Havertz, what did he get? 13 goals, 9 of them probably as
I think it was
center
20.
forward or something.
It was 20 all over, 13 goals, 7 assists.
Yeah, but like as a center forward, he got a percentage
13.
of that. He got 13 only as no, he didn't get 13 only as he had some as a midfielder.
13. I'm looking at overall goal
Yeah,
position.
because no, for me, the reason why I look at it as a center forward because I don't want him in. I look at him as a center forward. I don't want him in midfield. I think that's a waste of. I mean, we want him. I want him closer to the goal. I want him getting close to 20 goals, possibly. Right. If we're saying 13 at center forward as a center forward, then he could get. He should be able to easily get 20 if he plays most of the season there.
I think so. I guess I'm banking on it. If he stays healthy, he's going to get 20 goals.
And I'm talking about in the Premier League, right? These are all Premier League stats. I don't really care about the Champions League because who knows where the goals are going to. We will distribute anyways, but for me, the Premier League is the standard because we play most of our games there, and that's a long draw.
It's just crazy. It took Jesus getting injured before you seen him up there playing. You seen he wasn't working in the midfield. Why do you keep persisting for him in the midfield?
Keep resisting what?
I said you kept persisting with him in the midfield last year when you seen it didn't work, and finally Jesus gets injured, then he finally gets to play striker, which is his preferred position anyway.
Yeah, no, I always go back to that Villa game. That was like, that right there is like, why, like, you didn't learn. Didn't learn. I don't know. I think you change your formation if you really think if you're going to put him there, because I think you lost your chance of getting the league. That was the last chance because that was the last time we didn't win a game. You win that game, who knows, right? You're sitting top of the league, then you have something to play for because you have something to hold on to at that point, as opposed to be chasing a team that has shown that they can go on multi-game winning streaks, and they'd won for like 3 months. So, yeah, I think that was oof. You lost it early in the season, but that was the last option, the last opportunity.
Yeah, they have no problem winning 25, 30 games in a row.
Yeah. You have to start and finish strong, Arteta. Same way you started 2 seasons ago, and same way you ended this past season. That's what we need to do. No dips, man. No dips in the middle. Well, listen, we are here. It's almost about 90 minutes gone here. I think we probably should go. I think we probably should go. We got to chat about, we didn't even chat about Wolves coming up. Well, we'll do that real quick before we head out of here. We're playing Wolves. Anybody got any initial thoughts on it? I kind of want to look at who actually is on the squad there. I don't even know who potentially we would be potentially playing. Let's see.
It's a 9 o'clock kick our time, so
It's 10 o'clock over here for us, dude.
Hold on, you might be right.
It's at 10 o'clock.
Tony, that's going to require me to do math. There's no way I'm doing that. Stop.
It's 10 o'clock. I looked at it because it's basically at the time of the show. So
You expect me to do that math, Tony? How dare you?
Yeah. So against RB Leipzig, who did they have up top? They had Strand Larson, then Juan in the middle, along with Diego Gomez and Pablo Sarabia out wide there, and right in front of the back line, Bellegarde and Lamina. And on the 4 in the back, Nori, Gomes, I don't know, Mascara, Dougherty,
Mascara.
and then Dentley in bench. I guess that wasn't really a legitimate team. Let's see what they did when they lost. No, they went with the two up front. So same players. Jose Saw played in goal. So yeah, I guess they play the same. The last two games that they played, pretty much they just changed the goalkeeper. Bentley actually played. Maybe that was to sell him, put him out there on the window. So I don't know. I think we should be able to beat Wolves. They might give us a strong game because I think they always come properly coached. So I think that's going to be the case again. Gary O'Neill takes over the job. We've seen him play, and he definitely brings some continuity to the team. So, yeah. So I think I think it should be a good game to get started, but I think we should win it. I mean, I think this just reminds me of like when we played Crystal Palace to start seasons and people see us kind of struggle. Turns out they're actually a pretty good team by the end of the season. So, they don't have big names, a lot of big names, but they play probably a better football than most. I don't know what you think about that, Tony? Wolves.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the same thing when DRO was coach at Crystal Palace, their disciplined team. He always, with him, his teams always increased in defense. Started when he was in the MLS, went to France, improved them to next to best defense in the league. Palace is pretty high up there. So, yeah, you can do a lot with not great players if you just, here's how you're going to play. This is what I want from you. If you don't do it, I'm going to yank you out and put somebody else in there. Pretty simple.
I hear that. Spencer, anything about on Wolves before we get out of here?
First game of the season, got to start strong. Unless we have a surprise signing, I think the players that are going to play on Saturday are already here. Yeah, we'll see. Start strong, man. Like that's really. I know that's kind of cliche and bulletin board material, but it's so accurate. Again, I think the same applies in baseball. I don't think you can win a pennant in August as you can in April, but you can definitely lose a league in August if you start poorly. Same thing in baseball.
Yep. And we can't afford to not be perfect, so we got to go strive for perfect. Going forward, we know that that's the goal. If you want to win it, you can easily do it if we're perfect. So, first 5 games will be tough. This will be the start of that, but hopefully we get some more players in because I need the depth. I want the depth. Thank you guys for joining, and let everybody have this say as we get out of here. Spencer, what say you?
Thank you for joining us on a Monday night. Enjoy your week. The season's getting ready to start. Have faith. Eddie will be sold. Don't lose sleep over it. That's it. Cool. Enjoy your week.
You'd have a hard time convincing me in there.
Yeah. So for those who want to check out Rosie's channel, Food, Giggles, and Footy. There you go. BX is a terrible mod. I don't know about that. I think he's selling himself short. Tony?
There's time everything should be in place. Not in place. We need at least one attacker. Hopefully we get the business done. Need to figure out what we're doing with the Rams still. Seems like we're not like keeping for now because we don't have a backup unless you trust Hine. And you have this weekend, you don't know how much Rice or Saka will be involved. It'll be an interesting start to the season. I'm just ready for it to start so we can start talking about what's actually going on in the field.
Cool. I subbed there too, Rosie, so I guess I'll check out what you have to say and do. But yeah, All right, everyone. Thank you again for joining. We'll be back. We'll do this next week after the first game of the season. Hopefully, it's a win, and hopefully it's an easy win. Hopefully, we get to see a lot of players because it's an easy win. We need that. We need a lot of those this season. We need to finish off teams early. Maybe that'll be the goal for me, anyways, to see if we can score more than a lot of goals to start games as opposed to throughout the entire game. So, challenge.
Your mother said hello.
Oh, look at that. Mom just joined. Welcome to the show, Mom. We're about to head out of here. Yeah, you just missed it. We finished up. We pretty much chatted about everything we could. Yeah. What is that, Tony?
I was just gonna say, Mom kind of missed out on everything there.
Yeah. She can check out the replay. But
Tony
anyways,
was behaved.
Yeah, he was pretty good today. Yeah. Everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week. Arsenal, give me that big win. And Moreno, hopefully he's sitting in the stands, if not on the bench, And maybe we get to see Calafiore and some of the youngsters. I like to see who's on the bench. I do. Inweri being on the bench would be kind of cool. I don't know about Skelly. Skelly might be a little. Skelly could be on the bench too, right? We've got.
That's one thing I was gonna say earlier is last year we seen these names on the paper, but they never played. This year you have to have some of these academy kids out there playing.
I'd like to see these players get some minutes immediately if they can. So yeah. So why not? Let's have a big game, blow them out and move on. Like I said, everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week. If you have not already, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, get your notifications, and like this thing. And we will see you on the next one.
Life is a journey. Don't waste your trip. Enjoy the ride. There you go.
Yeah, I didn't forget, but BX, thank you again for helping out with the moderation. We'll see you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.